What help or what role sickle staple marital play in sickle cell anemia? I read a lot about it and they discussed. There seems to be some hope. Let's see what happened. Eventually, she went through it. But before then, she had a series of surgeries, and at least to date, I think she's a surgeon's delight. If I can use that word, if at her age, she could have had 25 surgeries. That's no small feat. And despite the fact that we know what the hazards of anesthesia, she was able to go through that. I think we can. And I think it's supposed to serve as a beacon of hope to others. This is possible. And yes, it became a success story, and we're here today celebrating.
In Nigeria, why can't we make parity?
I used to have only one enemy in the world. That's President Bush. But even for him, I don't pray that he gets a sick man. I've lived almost 30 years with her. Habiba is 31 years old. And it's something that you just have to experience it. It's something that can take life out of you. And their mother, my late wife, had the accident and she started crying and went to a neighbor. And the neighbor was telling her that, look, this man, at that time there was no GSM. I queued for 3 days just to call and tell her that I was okay. But she told her neighbor, if I have the choice, I would rather die than him. Because if he dies and leaves me with these 2 children, where do I take them? But I know him, he is stubborn. He will try to do something. I didn't know this story until Samira was hospitalized. I went to India, I went to the United States. At that time, George Bush was president, and if you know, as president of the United States, he bowed to the so-called moral majority, Jerry Powell and others, and banned all stem cell research that was funded by the government. Cincinnati, Ohio, that was the specialized hospital that was engaged in stem cell transplant. And in the US, they call it a black man's disease. Yeah. That's what they call it, a black man's disease. In Nigeria, we are the largest black population in the world. Northern Nigeria has a cultural practice of cousin marriage. This cousin marriage alone contributes almost 50%. Because the probability of having the same genotype is high. From their mother, we had 3 children. 2 of them Sickle, the boy AA. And so when they told me that there was the possibility I have to get a donor, I called them. They said, can you bring him? I said, yeah. I called Dr. Akinyemi, I said, we need blood. They wanted the blood. But at that time I was afraid carrying blood, from Nigeria to Vienna. Dr. Farouk was there, and he was my guardian angel. I said, look, let me fly this boy to Vienna. And they did the compatibility test. came to about 96%. And so they used to call him their hero. And since he was the last of the three, if they made him angry, he would say, half of me is in you. if I like, I can recall. The reason why I'm saying this is that you need faith, but you need to pay a sense of responsibility. I knew that even if it would be the end of my life, if that was what I had to give them, I would do it. And I made that to be my life. Finally, let me say this. Ultimate aim, our ultimate aim, and as long as I'm alive, I will stand by Samira, is to bring stem cell transplant, bone marrow transplant, and make it accessible and the institutional capacity available. But the most important thing is the advocacy and the enlightenment. 3 times a week she goes out to even force people to have their genotype tested. And like you tell her, you have to be careful. She said, no, Daddy, I can't allow somebody who is in the university and you ask him what is your genotype, like he says he doesn't know. It's irresponsible. So when she comes to I say, General, how is it today? He said, well, no, we did genotype for 200 people today. And when I see that kind of commitment and evaluation, I cannot do anything but thank God and give us we need to have this capacity. But above all, we need to talk to our neighbor about genotype information.
Of late, having sickle cell didn't really bother me. Only when I was 6 years old. The truth is I always see sickle cell as my pain, my blessing. Because I always felt something. It's my blessing because of sickle cell, people telling me you're mental such. I can do this, I can do that, I've done a lot of things. I joined the UNICEF Corps of Children back then in 2002. We were part of the Nigerian children that advocated for the passage of the Child Right Act in Nigeria, and now it's a law. I also joined other advocacies like HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and the likes of it. Now we are doing a major groundbreaking sensitization and awareness work on sickle cell.
Samira, and she's been really inspiring. She's been very cheerful, she's been very happy. She's always ready. Every time one of us is here, she's always ready to come to hospital, talk to her. Everyone's happy, and we become like a family. And that's the good part about it. That you get to know people that you understand, and you just become inspiring to her. So thank you very much.
We are at the heart of the foundation, so you stay with her. She will get me there. So at the count of S for survival, they unveil the book. S for survival.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
I want to do more than you want. But for your end's sake, I'm doing the same.
addition, just to keep the torch burning, I will make a pledge of donating 100,000 rupees for the next time.
From Sickle Cell Patient Health Promotion Center, Federal Kaduna North, 25,000 naira cash, 5 copies. Dr. Junaid Mohammed, the one I told you, my brother, the great soldier,